So you want to create your own time system in RPG Maker. While you could download a plugin, today I'll show you how to make your own. So before I show you how to make your own time system, I'll just quickly explain my time system for my game that I currently have in place. I just simply have our standard time. If s equals 60, s is equal to seconds. And after s equals 60, you set it back to 0 because it's counting to 60 again. You want to wait like half a second and then have it add to 1 minute. The m is obviously the minute, and so on and so forth. My time system lasts 60 seconds, 30 minutes, 18 hours, 20 days, and 12 months. So let's get started with our time system. So let's get started. First, you'll want to create an event, and we'll be using variables and conditional branches. Start off by creating a conditional branch that says if variable and then your second variable equals and however many seconds you want to be in a minute. So for this example, I'll use 30. So if seconds, and make sure you create a conditional branch or an else branch. So if our seconds is equal to the number 30, then we need to do something else. After this, we'll want to set it back to 0. So if it equals 30, set it back to 0. So every 30 seconds, it'll reset to 0. And then after this, we'll add to a minute and so on and so forth. Next, you'll want to add a wait timer of, you can set this to anything, but I use 30 frames or half of a second. This just allows the engine to do all the math and all that to make sure nothing gets added too quickly or too slowly. I just like to add a buffer. After that wait buffer, we'll be adding to our variable minute. So you'll want to add 1 to your minutes under this. So use control variable and then add 1 to your minute. So this says so far, if seconds equals 30, control variable set our seconds to 0, wait half a second, then add 1 to minutes. Next, under our else section for our conditional branch for the seconds, you'll want to add 1 second. And basically what this does, if s equals 30, it does this code. If s does not equal 30, it'll continually add 1 second until it does reach 30, and then it'll follow the rest of this code. Next, under our last variable that we created, you'll want to add another conditional branch for the minutes. Now, you'll want to set this to any amount of minutes that you want in your game. So again, I'll just pick 20 as an example. This means we'll have 20 minutes in our game and we'll have 30 seconds in our game. Now that I taught you the beginning of seconds and what to do, it pretty much follows the same principle. If minutes equals 20, you'll want to get a control variable, set the minutes to 0 again, wait the 30 frames or the half a second, and add 1 instead of minutes, add it to hours. That way your time keeps counting. So every 20 minutes in game time, it'll be adding 1 hour. And after that, you'll just want to go so on and so forth. You'll do basically this same thing for the hours, months, and day. So after that, you'll basically want to copy your minutes and just paste it under the else branch. And do the same thing, except change the variables. So instead of minutes, change it to hours and however many hours you want. So for this example, I'll use 6 hours in a day. And then make sure you change these other variables too. Set the hour back to 0. Wait half a second and add 1 instead of hour. Add it to your days. Next, under the else again, we'll just copy and paste this. Paste that again. And let's say you want 3 days in a week. So you just, if days equal 3, again, change your variable from hours to days, set it back to 0, wait half a second, and then add 1 to months instead of days. You want to do this 1 more time or possibly 2 more times, depending if you want to add months and years. You'll just take this again. Months, let's say I have 8 months in a year. Again, you'll want to change the months to 0 after they are counted. Wait half a frame, or half a second, my bad, and add 1 to year. And basically, overall, what this code says is every 30 seconds in game, set the seconds back to 0, wait half a second, add 1 to minute, and the else branch is basically counting this. So if the seconds don't equal 30, it just keeps adding 1 second, and that basically helps all of this count. So after that, our if minutes equal 20, set the minutes to 0, wait half a second, and then add 1 to hour, so on and so forth. So now that you have all of your seconds, minutes, hours, months, days, and years all calculated, what you can do with this is you can either have seasons or day and night events, or events period on certain days of the week, like maybe every third day. So if the day equals 3, you could have a shop owner have a fire sale or have higher prices if you want to. You basically can create events with time systems like these. Another good example could be on the 6th month, maybe you have a holiday in your game, and on the 6th month of a certain day, so let's say the 6th month, day 2, there's just a fire sale again. I can't think of anything else. You can add weeks. It follows the same exact principle. If you really want to add weeks, I didn't. I just basically made every month 3 days. You can add weeks if you want to. You could also just make the days longer. Now for the last bit, we went over how to create the time system. Now how about we create a quote-unquote day and night? For this, I'll just show you my code. Time system, day and night. So basically, if hour 9, or if the hour variable is less than 9, then it's daytime. If the hour 9 is equal to or greater than 9, then it's nighttime. It's basically the same thing. So what you would do under your event, you can make this a common event like you just saw up there and just have it called on the map in parallel. You would just basically, if conditional branch hour is greater than, again, you're gonna have to figure this out yourself depending on what you set your hours to. So let's say if hours greater than 2, or less than 2, my mistake. If it's less than 2, you can tint the screen, and then you can set it to night or sepia, sunset, dark, normal. You can get creative with it. You can add your own filters and pictures to make it darker or brighter. Overall, your event should look like this. It should just be a event box that runs in parallel. You can set this below players if you have water like I do. I have mine saying call common event master logic, but your event will be calling your day and night or time system. I have it calling master logic because I have other systems in place, but if I set it to call the time system, then it'll just run this code in parallel, always counting the time. Now, if you do want the time to count in buildings and other places, such as if I wanted to count in the mayor's office, again, all I need for that is the time system. So event, I'll want to run it in parallel, and then you'll want to find the common event call. So you'll want to call your common event, so common event and time system. Okay, run it in parallel, and then just click OK, and then every time the player enters this building, it will always count the seconds. You'll basically need to copy and paste this to every map that you could have, or every building you want the time to run in.